Hello students, today our topic of discussion is fluorescent lamp. What is a fluorescent lamp? A fluorescent lamp is a low-weight mercury vapor lamp that uses fluorescence to deliver visible light. An electric current in the gas energizes mercury vapor, which delivers ultraviolet radiation through discharge process, and the ultraviolet radiation causes the phosphor coating of the lamp inner wall to radiate visible light. A fluorescent lamp has changed our electrical energy into useful light energy to a great deal more proficiently than incandescent lamps. The normal luminous viability of fluorescent lighting framework is 50 to 100 lumens per watt, which is a few times the adequacy of incandescent lamps with equivalent light yield. Now, a fluorescent lamp tube is loaded with a gas containing low pressure mercury vapor and argon. The pressure inside the lamp is around 0.3% of environmental pressure. The inward surface of the lamp is coated with a fluorescent and frequently marginally luminous. This coating is made of shifting mixes of metallic and uncommon earth phosphor salts. The lamp's anodes are normally made of snaked tungsten and typically alluded to as cathodes due to their primary capacity of discharging electrons. For this, they are coated with a blend of barium, strontium, and calcium oxides to have a low thermionic emission temperature. Fluorescent lamp tubes are normally straight and long. The length of the commonly used lamp is around 100 millimeters. A few lamps have the tube twisted into a circle utilized for table lamps or different spots where a more conservative light source is required. Bigger U-shaped lamps are utilized to give the same measure of light in a smaller region. Minimal fluorescence lamps have a few little width tubes joined in a heap of 2, 4 or 6 or a little breadth tube curled into a helix to give a high measure of light yield in little volume. To construct a fluorescent tube light, a lime glass tube, drop of mercury, argon gas, phosphor coating and the electrodes with their mount assemblies are required. Total setup of a lamp requires two bases and choke coil with a starter. The electrode mount assembly is almost similar to the stem press unit in the incandescent lamps. The filaments play both roles as anode and cathode. Generally, small plates are attached to the filament to protect it from electron bombardment and to reduce the wattage loss at both ends. The electrode is similar to the incandescent lamp filament, but an exemption is that this filament is dipped in a mixture of barium, strontium, and calcium carbonate. It is baked during manufacturing to become oxides, and thus it becomes capable of providing the abundance of free electrons easily. Now, what is the history of this so important lamp in our life? The standard fluorescent lamp was developed for commercial use during the 1930s. The idea of the fluorescent lamp had been around since the 1880s. However, it took steady work over the decades to finally create a working, commercially viable model. But this work was done by many, not one single inventor. Now let us look how does a fluorescent lamp works. In the circuit, you can see that the fluorescent circuit diagram is given over here. In the circuit, you can see that we have connected one ballast with one switch in series with the main supply, and the fluorescent tube is connected, a starter across it. This is the starter. Now, when we switch on the supply, full voltage comes across the lamp and as well as across the starter through the ballast. But at that instant, no discharge happens. That is, no lumen output from the lamp. At that full voltage, first the glow discharge is established in the starter. This is because the electrodes gap in the neon bulb of starter is much lesser than that of the fluorescent lamp. Then gas inside the starter gets ionized due to this full voltage and hits the bimetallic strip. That causes to bend the bimetallic strip to connect to the fixed contact. Now, current starts flowing through the starter. Although the ionization potential of the neon is more than that of the argon, but still, due to small electrode gap, a high voltage gradient appears in the neon bulb and hence glow discharge gets started first in the starter. As soon as the current starts flowing through the touched contacts of the neon bulb of the starter, the voltage across the neon bulb gets reduced since the current causes a voltage drop across the inductor, that is the ballast. At reduced voltage or no voltage across the neon bulb of the starter, there will be no more gas discharge taking place and hence the bimetallic strip gets cool and breaks away from the fixed contact. At the time of breaking of the contacts in the neon bulb of the starter, the current gets interrupted and hence at that moment a large voltage surge comes across the inductor. The details of the operation is described over here. You can pause the screen and note down. As the voltage comes across the inductor, that is V equals to L di dt, where L is the inductance of the inductor and di dt is the rate of change of current. This high valued surge voltage comes across the fluorescent lamp electrodes and strikes penning mixture, that is mixture of argon gas and mercury vapor. Gas discharge process gets started and continues and hence current again gets a path to flow through the fluorescent lamp tube itself. During discharging of penning gas mixture, the resistance offered by the gas is lower than the resistance of the starter. The discharge of mercury atoms produces ultraviolet radiation, which in turn excites the phosphor powder coating to radiate visible light. Starter gets inactive during the glowing of fluorescent lamp because no current passes through the starter in that condition. So this is the details of the operation of the fluorescent lamp, or in our local word, tube light. What is the physics behind the fluorescent lamp? When a sufficiently high voltage is applied across the electrodes, a strong electric field is set up. A small amount of current through the electrodes filaments heats up the filament coil. As the filament oxide coated, a sufficient amount of electrons is produced and they rush from the negative electrode or cathode to the positive electrode or anode due to this strong electric field. During the movement of free electrons, the discharge process gets established. The basic discharge process always follows 3 steps. Free electrons are derived from the electrodes and they get accelerated by the electric field applied. Kinetic energy of the free electrons is converted into the excitation energy of the gas atoms. The excitation energy of the gas atoms gets converted into the radiation. In the discharge process, a single ultraviolet spectral line of 253.7 nanometer is produced at a low pressure of mercury vapor. To generate 253.7 nanometer ultraviolet ray, the bulb temperature is kept between 105 to 115 degree Farad. The length of diameter ratio of the tube should be such that fixed wattage loss happens at both ends, where this wattage loss or glow of electrodes take place is called cathode and anode fall region. This watt loss is very small. Again, the electrodes, again the cathodes should be oxide coated. Hot cathode provides an abundance of free electrons. Hot cathode means Hot cathodes mean those electrodes which are heated by circulating current, and this circulating current is provided by choke or control gear. Few lamps have cold cathode also. Cold cathodes have a larger effective area and higher voltage such as 11 kV is applied across them to get ions. Gas starts to be discharged due to this high voltage application, but at 100 to 200 volt, the cathode glow gets separated from the cathode. It is called cathode fall. This provides a large supply of ions which are accelerated to produce secondary electrons on impact, which in turn produce more ions. But cathode fall in hot cathode discharge is only at 10 volt. Now, let us discuss what are the common uses of these lamps. Lamps, both outdoor and indoor, backlight for LCD displays, decorative lighting and signs, both high bay and small area general lighting, not used for lighting from afar due to diffused nature of the light. Now, let's discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of this lamp. Advantages. Energy efficient. So far the best light for interior lighting. Low production cost of tubes, not of the ballasts. Long life of tubes. Good selection of desired color temperature. Cool whites to warm whites. Diffused light. Good for general, even lighting, reducing harsh shadows. What are the disadvantages? Flicker of the high frequency can be irritating to humans' eyes. Eye strain, headaches, migraines can occur. Flicker of common fluorescent light looks poor on video and creates an ugly greenish or yellow hue on camera. Diffused light not good when you need a focused beam such as in a headlight or flashlight. Poorly or cheaply designed ballasts can create radio interference that disturbs other electronics. Poorly, cheaply designed ballast can create fires when they overheat. There is a small amount of mercury in the tubes, irritating flicker at the end of the life cycle. So that's all about fluorescent lamps. If you have any queries, you can ask me through WhatsApp or email. Stay tuned for other discharge lamps. Thank you for today's class.